achieved.
What up? Welcome back to Studio Day Jeffrey Day Quarantino. Quentin Quarantino. Okay, got a few things to do today. And first, I got to ask you guys, what is wrong with you guys? I asked what people want to talk about. You know how many of you still said mock draft? I've done 2 mock drafts in the last 2 days. So will I do a mock draft at the end of this video? Sure. I think they're fun. I'll do one whenever. But first, I want to get into a couple of things happening with the Cowboys right now. One, I saw the report from the great Mike Fisher that the Cowboys may be interested in Damon Harrison, old Snacks, defensive tackle, nose tackle, fat man, run stuffer. And I love that. Now, here's where you have to pump the brakes. Sure, they're interested if the price is right. That's what it's going to come down to for the Cowboys. I mean, only people who believe the salary cap is fake are going to tell you it doesn't matter what people want. You can just sign everyone because they're not paying attention. But in real life, what they're going to look at is, can we get him at a price where we can fit him in here without having to do too many tricks and kick any money around that could hurt us later? And how do we compare him to the rest of the free agency or the rest of the free agents at defensive tackle that are still available? And blah, 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 blah. They do need to add a defensive tackle. Right now, Antoine Woods will likely be back. I believe he's an exclusive rights free agent. So they have Antoine Woods basically if they want him. So he'll be here. But do I think they need to upgrade at nose tackle? I do. If Snacks Harrison could be a part of that, that's great. It's an interesting thing where you're going to hear a lot of people who are like, just sign him, I don't care, give him whatever. But if you look around the league, the Cowboys are not alone in the way that they feel about run stuffers. Stopping the run will always have some value because teams do run the ball. If you can stop it, that's great. But Snacks was flipped for, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think it was a 5th-round pick when he was a highly paid guy. And at the time, he was probably still the premier run stopper in football. So there's value there. It's just not a ton of value. Cowboys' defensive line is in shambles, so I'm interested in Snacks Harrison. You just got to see what are the numbers going to be on that and see how realistic that is. And maybe it is realistic, and maybe the Cowboys will add him. Maybe not. Maybe they'll add somebody else, and then we'll figure it out, and they'll sign a guy. And then we'll draft a guy. Now, I want to, a couple of you commenting on the last video where you guys are killing me for my mock drafts. A lot of you liked it. Some of you are killing me. And I don't mind. I don't mind being killed. I'll own it. I'll let you hate on me, and I'll show my work. So Mark Williams, he said, if this was how our draft went down, I think I would cry like a baby. You take Rager over Delpit, and then Arnett over Weaver. I want you to show us your board. No way that's your order. Big fan, but now I'm starting to question your sanity. LOL. And then Jonathan Walker, could you show us your draft board? Also, any chance you could make it available like on Google Docs? Yes. So here's what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm going to hit this button. Pow! And I disappear. And that's just a screenshot of the top of my board. You'd have to scroll to get the rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the Google Doc that I use shareable so that you guys can see it. But as you can see here, I know it's weird that I'm talking and that's on top of my face. So anyway, as you can see, for what were the 2 guys that you were talking about? Rager over Delpit. If you look at my board, you can see, I believe, did the safeties make it in there or did they get cut off? Yeah, they're in there. They're on the far right there. So Delpit is still my top safety. And the reason he's not right underneath the letter S over there on your far right is because I've got him and Antoine Winfield as 1-2s. So late 1, early 2s. If you go over to my wide receivers, you'll see CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Rager, and there are no gaps because those guys I have as first rounders, not 1-2s. So yes, I would take Jalen Rager over Grant Delpit if you let me run a football team. The other one, you said who over Weaver? Let me get back and make sure I'm not screwing this up. Arnett over Weaver. Okay, so look at my corners, which is next to the safeties, second from the right. Okudah is a first rounder. Henderson I got as a 1-2. Fulton, Gladney, Arnett, Trevon Diggs, A.J. Terrell, Noah Igbenogany. Those I have as 2s. And Weaver, I have at the top of 3. So, yes, I would make those picks. So, yeah, what I'll do is I'll tweet out here soon. I'll get the shareable link, and I'll make it shareable because on that thing there, you could only see the top, I believe, 3 rounds. And I'm still working on a lot of the day 3 guys. I'm probably up to, I'm not going to try to count on the fly here, I don't know, probably 140, 150 guys, something like that. But, yeah, so that's my board. That's my board. And I'll show my work. I'm not afraid to. From LC, question for tomorrow. Why are you against taking a left tackle to start making our line younger? Of course, leave in the comments if there's something you want me to talk about tomorrow, and I'll make a video tomorrow so that, you guys got some content. I know, we're in quarantine. You need your content. Call of Duty, content, reading books, watching tape. I was born for this. I was born for quarantine. You can't tell on the radio. And I am getting better at it, but I'm an introvert. I'd love to just sit by myself all the time. But I am getting better at it. Therapy's badass. I'm learning. Books, things like that. If you want something to be in a video tomorrow, just leave something in the comments on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. And, of course, turn the notifications on. Click on the little bell so you don't miss a video. From LC, why not trade away Tyron right now while he's still making Pro Bowls, but he's very injury prone? He's 1 injury away from declining permanently. Don't get me wrong, I love Tyron Smith. I have his jersey, but this is about the team. Trade Tyron for a late first rounder and pick up maybe one of the safeties or corners. Problem with that is you're also trying to win a Super Bowl right now. Cowboys are trying to win the Super Bowl. And it's not impossible that they can. You have good quarterback play. We'll see what the roster looks like after free agency and the draft is done. But you had a great offense last year. If you play a little bit better defense and you play any sort of reasonable special teams, you put yourself in the hunt and you're trying to win the Super Bowl. So if I take Tyron away, what happens to my team? Cam Fleming's gone, and he was a train wreck when he had to play. So if anybody was upset that he's gone, don't worry about it. Looney's back. Connor McGovern will be ready. So maybe the offensive line will be Tyron Smith at left tackle, Connor McGovern at left guard, Frederick, Martin, Lyle Collins, and then your swing tackle could be Connor Williams, tackle at Texas. Looney could be your backup on the interior, and you still got Brandon Knight. We're kind of cooking with bacon grease right there. That's not a bad group at offensive line. So if I take Tyron away from that, and especially if I take Tyron away from that, and draft a safety or corner. What am I doing at left tackle? And what's Tyron's trade value? I think it would still be good because I know it seems like he's been in the league forever, but he's still not an old man. He's still fairly young in NFL years at left tackle. Backs worry me too. I feel like that's something you're going to have to manage forever, and I don't feel like he's the same elite guy that he was. I feel like now he's just very good, which is fine. He's got a really team-friendly contract that still runs for years. So could somebody use Tyron? Would somebody be interested in Tyron that needs offensive line help, that thinks they're a contender, that wants to get him and inherit that team-friendly deal? Sure. Could you get a 1? Like in this draft, if one of the first 4 offensive tackles is available, and for some teams maybe it's 5 or 6, if you want to throw in either Josh Jones or Ezra Cleveland at Boise or pick another name, I don't know exactly what his value is. He's a really good left tackle, or at the very least, he's a good left tackle on a reasonable cap number that would be locked up for years. Maybe that gets you a late 1, but what are we doing at left tackle? I guess... Okay, so what you would be saying is trade Tyron, hopefully get a late 1, and at 17, if one of those tackles drops, you would pick him. Because I guess in yesterday's mock, 2 of those tackles made it. I'll fiddle fart with it. When we do a mock, if you want me to, I'll do a mock at the end of this. I'll pull it up and I'll do a mock draft, and we'll see what it looks like if I take a left tackle. And I wish the Draft Network would let me trade players. It'd take a lot of work, but maybe I'll just build a site like that. I know nothing about building websites. Anyway, Tyron's probably going to play better. Yeah, I'd bet on it. Tyron's going to play better than probably every first-round left tackle for this year. And obviously he'll have a better career because he's a Hall of Famer. But he's still better today than any of these first-rounders are going to be out of the gate. So it's tough. It would be tough to intentionally take a step back. But I guess if you got the right return, I'm a team builder. That's me. I'm a team builder at heart. I do think it's a good question. But I think there's a lot of value for this team to have Tyron Smith at left tackle playing really well on a team-friendly deal for a long time. And I'm not in a hurry to get away from that. But for the right return, I'll trade anybody. Let's see. What do you think of, this is Stephen Thomas. He says, what do you think of wide receiver Laviska Shenault from Colorado? Good wide receiver, but nobody seems to be talking about him. I think the combine hurt him a little bit. He ran a 4.59 in the 40. And he's just not the same. You can look on my board. I have him as my 6th wide receiver. And that could easily be as low as probably 9th. My top 4, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Reagor. Then second rounders, Denzel Mims, Baylor, Laviska Shenault, Colorado, Michael Pittman, USC, T. Higgins, Clemson, Justin Jefferson, LSU. Those are my top 9. And then I would draw a line, like I have a line between those top 4, and I could draw a line after those next 5. And then you got Brandon Ayuk, KJ Hamler, KJ Hill, Brian Edwards, Gandy Golden, Van Jefferson, Clay, blah, 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 all the different guys. Anyway, what was the question? Oh, Laviska Shenault. I like him. I think he's kind of boom or busty, though. Busty. He's kind of boom or busty in that he's incredible when the ball's in his hands. They'll run him in the Wildcat at Colorado. They'll play him in the slot. They'll play him outside. They'll throw him screens. But as far as like in a polished and nuanced route runner, I don't think he's that. And then running basically a 4.6 at the combine, I think that hurts him a little bit. But he is what he is. He's at bare minimum a really good gadget player that's really tough to tackle that can bring you something. I wouldn't mind. Heck, 51, you're going to put him in the slot and just see what happens? I'm down. I like him, but he's different. Like the guys around him on my rankings, Denzel Mims. Watch him. First of all, he tested great, so you can put some faith in that and that athletic ability. And at the Senior Bowl, he showed an ability to run a lot of routes and separate on guys. Michael Pittman, really good route runner, nuance to make room for himself at the top of routes, separate. Shenault's just different. He's a different kind of player, and you got to figure out how that fits. Brian, what do you think Snacks Harrison will cost? I guess we kind of just did that. Is it possible to get him and Everson Griffin? If you could sign just one of them, who do you sign? I'd have to watch Griffin from last year. I know Griffin's great. They're both kind of the same thing, right? Guys that were incredible, that are on the back side of their career. It's just a matter of how far on the back side of it they are. I think edge is a more valuable position. So if I could just pick one, I'd probably take Everson Griffin. And so let's see where he ends up. What is that? You guys see my cup? It's just a cup. I drink Miller. I don't even know where I got this, but it's one of those cups that keeps things cold. Let's see here. David G says Tristan Hill. Does he play this year, and does he make an impact, or does he get traded to L.A. Raiders to Rod, and for what? A second-round pick going into his second year, who last year could only be on the active roster when you were decimated by injury, is probably worth a 4th or 5th round pick to somebody that really liked him. I'll say maybe a 5th round pick because he was also overdrafted. Nobody else was taking him where the Cowboys took him. And then as an NFL player, he wasn't really able to get on the field, so that hurts. I'm not writing off anybody this early in their life and in their career. He's a young dude, but he was overdrafted. That's not his fault. That's the Cowboys' fault. And he didn't look ready to play NFL football. So what's working against him is Rod Marinelli's gone. The coaching staff that brought him in is gone. So it's now going to be about how does Jim Tomsula and Mike Nolan, how do those guys feel about Tristan Hill? Because they have nothing invested in that. A lot of guys get to stick around on teams because the people that picked them, be it the GM or the coaching staff, they have a vested interest in being right. These guys don't. McCarthy doesn't care. Tristan Hill, for now, they don't have enough bodies on the D-line, so for now, he would be on the team. I mean, heck, today he'd be active. That's just a we'll see. We'll see what the rest of the roster shapes out as and what this new staff thinks of him. Is Okudah worth a blockbuster trade up for if he slips to even 5 or 6? Better prospect than Jalen Ramsey was? ? That's a good question. Ramsey was a freak show, but Ramsey was also, you could ask questions because he wasn't just playing outside corner at Florida State. He was playing slot and edge and safety and corner, and he was moving around all over the place, but you knew he was a really good player. Okudah played all of his snaps at outside corner and was, God, he's almost flawless. So it sucks because with one of them, you already know what he's done in the NFL, right? You know that Jalen Ramsey's a beast. And you don't know what Okudah is going to do in the NFL, but as a prospect alone, who would you rank higher? I would have Jeff Okudah ranked higher as a prospect. This team needs their picks, but if it worked out to where Okudah's sliding down, where does your 1 and your 2 get you? 17 and your 2 probably only gets you to, 10? Would you give your 1 and your 2 for that corner? I think I would. Part of me would hate myself for it because I know how much help this team needs, but he'll be a top 5 player in this class for me. So if I could get there and make that happen, yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, I'd go get Okudah. Michael Banda says, real question, Jeff. Can Akeem Davis-Gaither play strong safety? Seems athletic enough, like a mini Cam Chancellor. Maybe. I wouldn't want to draft a guy too high if that's what you're thinking. So Akeem Davis-Gaither's a linebacker at Appalachian State, a.k.a. where Power 5 teams pay them to then get embarrassed. What up, Michigan? Stop writing $1 million checks for App State to come play you in week 1. They're not punks. They will beat you. You're going to pay them to beat you. Akeem Davis-Gaither. He's like a 220-pound outside linebacker. He just kind of plays the overhang defender for them. So it's outside linebacker. It's just a position that exists more in college than it does in the NFL. And I love him. Second-round guy for me. But because of that size, and he's incredibly athletic, he can tackle in space. He can chase plays down from the backside. He can rush the passer. Yeah, I think he could play strong safety. Yeah, but you don't want to draft guys like that too high. Like if you're drafting a guy whose tape is overhang outside linebacker / sometimes out in the slot, I guess some of that is strong safety responsibility, but I remember the pass rusher, come on, was it Temple? He was like 230 pounds, and you knew he wasn't going to be playing pass rush in the NFL. He was going to be a stand-up linebacker because he was just way too small, and he was super athletic, and he got picked in the top 10, and it hadn't worked out. Dang it, I'm sorry the name is slipping my mind. Somebody will leave it in the comments. If you're going to be changing a guy's entire position, don't do that with an early pick because there's uncertainty there. But I'm a big fan of Akeem Davis-Gaither. Braden Cox, I've been steady taking Benito Jones, Ole Miss with that comp 5th to be my nose tackle. What say ye? In the 5th, I could do that. Benito, he had some good practices at the Senior Bowl where I really liked some of the things that he did, and I was like, holy cow, this guy looks pretty good. So then I went and watched his tape. Problem is, he's an on the ground all the time guy, and that's probably not a great trait for your nose tackle that's stopping the run. He's on the ground a lot. You got some balance situations going on there. Lee Burright. Hey, Jeff. How has overpaying players screwed us out of keeping other good players over the years? Tank's not overpaid. He's making market value. You guys know how I feel about the Zeke thing. That's absurd. The Jalen one's a bad deal. Yeah, I would say this. All things being equal, Jalen and Zeke together are making average annual $24 million a year. I guess they'd tell you that Zeke got $15 million a year, but he didn't. But sure, we'll use that number. So $27 million. Byron got 16. Quinn got 14. That's 30. So that's in the ballpark of the same numbers. I would much rather have Byron Jones and Robert Quinn than Jalen Smith and Zeke getting extensions. And Zeke didn't even need an extension. He had 2 years left on his deal. Neither did Jalen. They did them both early and committed that money. And then watch a Pro Bowl corner and a good pass rusher walk. So did they screw themselves? No. Because individually, they could have kept Byron if they wanted to. Maybe had to move a little money, but they could have kept Byron if they wanted to. And they just decided he wasn't for them. But yes, it hurts having money tied up in contracts that you'd rather not be in when there are contracts you'd like to get done and you can't. Jamie, you can't quarantine Studio Day Heffrey. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Dalias, longtime listener, first-time commenter, seriously concerned about the right defensive end position next year. Thoughts on Clowney on a one-year, $16 million deal? I'll take Clowney. He's one of those guys that the sack numbers have never matched the impact that he has on games. He's an incredible run defender, and he's good at getting around and affecting the quarterback. It's just never translated into big sack numbers. The market he's not finding the market he thought he was going to find. He thought he was going to get $20 million a year, but what did he have last year? Like 4 sacks? He's a really good player, but I'd love to have Clowney on a one-year deal. $16 million's a lot. If they were going to spend $16 million on a defensive end, they could have just kept Robert Quinn. So I don't think they'll be in on that big of money, but I don't know. Okay, I still have other questions, but I can save those for later because I said I would do another mock. So why not? Let's do another mock. I need to add in my window, my browser. Add in a window capture. Chrome. Draft. Come on in. Oh, hold on. Let me get it in the right spot, and then we'll draft. And do that. Okay. Now, hold on. Means I got to move. Okay. Since everybody wants to mock draft all the time, we'll mock draft again. Let's see. You like how I pretend like it bothers me? Like, I don't want to be doing this. I'll mock draft all day, every day. Starting draft. Just going 5 rounds. I'm not trying to make their 7th round pick yet because I just don't know yet. I don't know enough yet. Let's see who's gone. Burrow, Chase Young, Derek Brown, Tristan Wirfs, Tua, Justin Herbert, Jeff Okudah, Isaiah Simmons, Javon Kinlaw, Mekhi Becton. The 3 receivers, Lamb, Ruggs, Judy, Jedrick Wills, C.J. Henderson, Caleb Chason. This is starting to get pretty familiar. They're starting to go that way. Okay, so let's go to our selection. Andrew Thomas. So if you want to, you guys want to play this game? Well, you don't have a choice. Let me say this up front. This is not what I would do. I would not pick an offensive tackle in the first round for the Cowboys. But in theory, I'm still not going to do it. I don't want to do that. But I will walk through this. If I took Andrew Thomas, the reason I'm not going to do it right now, because I can't simulate a Tyron trade to give myself a pick later and see who I would have gotten. But I'll tell you how this would go. If you could trade Tyron for a late 1 or an early 2, and this were your board, you would draft Andrew Thomas here, and you would have your left tackle of the next decade, and you'd feel good about it. And then with whatever Tyron brings you back, we'll look at it. Let me pick somebody else, and then we'll look No, or should I do it this way? I could just pick Andrew Thomas. When the first round is over, we'll look at who went like 30, 31, 32. And if we could have gotten that pick, now I'm going to assume Tyron gets you an early 2. It's just so much that goes into it. Because I could just not draft the actual player, but I could just point to a guy that went in the early 30s and be like, and you got him. Yeah, let's do that, okay? You took Andrew Thomas, Georgia left tackle. And I'm telling you I would not do this. I would just stick with Tyron. But we took Andrew Thomas. And what's a reasonable trade return for Tyron Smith? I really think it's late 1, early 2. So for fun, I'm going to look at the names in this range. Let's get to our pick first. Okay, Cowboys are on the clock. But you traded Tyron Smith. You drafted Andrew Thomas. And we will say in return, you could get at least this pick. You could at least get a top 40 pick. So let's say you took Antoine Winfield Jr. Everybody cool with that? You have no Tyron, but just add at the end of this draft the name Antoine Winfield Jr. We got him too, because we traded Tyron Smith for a top 40 pick, and we got Antoine Winfield Jr. with that pick. Oh, I could have got Jalen Reagor, though. Are you guys tired of me picking Jalen Reagor? Ashton Davis. You could take Curtis Weaver. We got Antoine Winfield Jr., okay? You have Andrew Thomas and Antoine Winfield Jr. You have no Tyron Smith. Now, who are the available players? I need to... Oh, to me, this is easy, but I pick Trevon Diggs all the time. So maybe I'll take A.J. Terrell this time. We already took our safety, although it's not going to show us that at the end of the draft. We took a left tackle. Which means I have not taken a receiver yet, right? I confused myself. I took an offensive tackle, which is an offensive pick. If I took another offensive player, you guys would be so mad at me. So I won't take KJ Hamler here. But I do have Antoine Winfield. Edges, you guys know which ones I like by now. I like Anai. I like Taylor. I don't trust that the Cowboys would know how to use Uchi, but if they did, I would really enjoy it. He's a good pass rusher. I'm going to take a corner because they're going to be high up on my board right now. So we're going to take A.J. Terrell. Don't know that he'll make it to that pick, but why not? So now we have Andrew Thomas, Antoine Winfield from Minnesota at safety, A.J. Terrell at corner. We've added a safety, a corner, a left tackle, and we lost our left tackle. We traded Tyron. You jerks. God, you guys are jerks. Trading Tyron Smith. So I won't be looking at corners anymore. I won't be looking at safeties anymore. And I won't be... Oh, I need to address this too. And another thing, because somebody was telling me, like, you're doing what the Cowboys did. You're picking for need and not the best player. And that's true a little bit. But I will never venture far down the board for a pick. Like right now, the Cowboys have, in this scenario, I have Xavier Woods, Clinton Dix, Antoine Winfield we just picked. They brought back Darian Thompson. They got Donovan Wilson. So is it likely I pick a safety if he's at the top of the board? Not if one of my top 5 players left is a guy that's going to play right at the end. So is need a factor? A little bit. But especially at the top of the draft, you will not catch me going away from the top of my board. Or if I am, it'll be by one player because my top player was a running back. And I'm obviously not picking a running back. But, yeah, so I will factor in need, but I won't ever drift far from the top of the board. So we have Antoine Winfield Jr., Andrew Thomas, and A.J. Terrell. I'm going to be looking, ideally, if I could get a wide receiver who's at the top of my board, that would be great. If those are the wide receivers and these are the edges, I keep hurting myself with these edges. I might One of these I'm going to have to pull the trigger earlier, I guess, on Darrell Taylor. Third round, I think that's where I would take at nigh. Alton Robinson I'd take in the fourth. I just keep leaving the defensive ends on the board. There's enough wide receivers that I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm not going to take Jordan Elliott again because I've done that too many times, so that's getting old even for me. Although I would. You guys know that, right? And I would also take Akeem Davis-Gaither all day, every day. Their linebackers are off. Okay. So what do we have? We have a safety, we have a corner, and we took a left tackle, but that's a wash because we traded our left tackle. So basically we've taken a safety and a corner. I keep coming back to this. He's so good. He's so good. Okay. All right, Jeff, get it together. What about this, huh? You guys want Hurts or Fromm? I know some of you do. Wide receiver. I'm a big KJ Hill fan and a big Bryan Edwards fan, and I like Van Jefferson. But Duvernay's down here. Gandy Golden's down here. Lynn Bowden might be fun. Jawan Jennings is down here. I don't have to do that yet. I ain't got to do that yet. I got to be true to my board. Got to be true to the board. Akeem Davis-Gaither. I took a linebacker. See? I didn't go take Bradley and who I've got lower than Akeem Davis-Gaither. I didn't do it. I took Akeem Davis-Gaither, and we'll figure it out. That's a long video. I hear something on my TV. Is Call of Duty playing itself? I hope not. That'd be weird. Quarantine's fun, isn't it? I don't mind it. I was born for this. Watch tape, read books, make a stupid video. I was born for this. Cowboys are up in the fourth. Wide receiver. Duvernay in the building. I like Duvernay there in the fourth. I really, really, really do. It's about the right spot for Alton Robinson, too. It's about the right spot for Alton Robinson, too. Jordan Elliott in the fourth. Come on. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that because that's a lie. Tight ends and safeties. I already took a safety. I already took a corner. I got him as a 6. I got him as a 5. I got him as a 3. So will Reggie Robinson really be there? Because if he would, he's probably my highest rated player. What have I done again? Let's take a look. And remember, we add Antoine Winfield Jr. here because we traded Tyron. Antoine Winfield Jr., AJ Terrell, Davis-Gaither. So I haven't added to the defensive front 4 at all. That's tough. You'd like to. I could just cheat and pick Jordan Elliott and be like, look, I did it. I saved it. He's later for me. He's a little later for me. You got to pick your best player, right? Isn't that what we got to do here? Pick your best player? Sorry. Devin Duvernay. Come on down. Tyler Johnson's interesting, too. He had monster numbers at Minnesota, and he finds ways to get open. It just looks strange. The way that he gets open just kind of looks weird, and I don't trust it. And he drops the ball. So now we got, 2 fifth-round picks left, and I'm probably just going to fire off on 2 random defensive linemen because of need. Or not. I mean, you could take another receiver because right now I just took Duvernay, so you got Cooper, Duvernay, Gallup. But other than that, what do you got? You're bringing Tavon back. You're running out Noah Brown, Cedric Wilson, Ventrell Bryant. I don't know. I'd take Gandy Golden here. Lynn Bowden's tons of fun. Juwan Jennings is good. Are there any D linemen left that I like? Maybe I'll use the comp pick on Benito Jones and add some depth there. Nope. Nobody left that I like at edge. Hope they sign somebody. They will. Plus Randy Gregory. Okay, so nobody left that I like at edge. Oh, that's a predictive board. What about their player rankings? Is that different? Is that different? Or Benito. I'll watch Raekwon Williams tonight. Remind me what I've done again. Okay. Remember to add Antoine Winfield. So I've got a safety, a corner, a linebacker, and a wide receiver. Nobody on the defensive front. I will take a defensive lineman at some point. It just might not be yet. I've taken Gandy Golden too many times. Could Juwan Jennings really get this far down in the draft? John Hightower should be higher than that. Prochet should probably be higher than that. I already got Duvernay. So if I pick a guy, I'd like him to be able to play either inside or outside. Juwan Jennings is kind of a big slot. Gandy Golden, 6'4", more of an outside guy. Oh, Harrison Bryant. Dude, I would so take him there. Just to show you a different name, I think I've got Asiasi as a 3-4, like a third or fourth round guy. Yeah, let's add a tight end. I wouldn't do this. I would pick another receiver just because my player rankings. I'm just having fun looking at different things. Harrison Bryant. They think he's the 135th best player in this draft. Disagree. And that's a wide receiver kind of tight end hybrid. He's a big slot. 1,000 yards last year at Florida Atlantic. Good player. I'm surprised that he ran a 4.7 40. And finally, just to make the one person happy on your comment, go ahead. Benito Jones. Get you a big boy. So, here's our draft. Let's see. Where's my picks? That's your haul. Andrew Thomas. Remember, we got Antoine Winfield Jr. to put right there after him. We traded Tyron. A.J. Terrell, Akeem Davis-Gaither, Devin Duvernay, Harrison Bryant, Benito Jones. I'd be happy with that. I think that'd be good. That'd be quite good. Okay. Let's get that window out of here. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Remember, in the comments, whatever you want to talk about tomorrow. I'm in quarantine. I mean, we can talk about whatever. Call of Duty. We can talk Call of Duty. I love you guys. I'll catch you. God, 38 and a half minutes. Congrats.